Welcome everyone. It is just after 1 o'clock on the West Coast. It is Hug Nation time now. Whenever your now is. If your now is at the same chronological time and you're watching live, well, thank you for adding your live energy to this recalibration, this moment of connection. And if you're watching this archive, thank you for releasing this digital bottle and letting the fragrance of this love permeate your world, amplify your heart, and then spread. It doesn't matter when the time and space is, it just matters when the intention and the vibration. So before we get going too deep, let's just take a moment to get present. Take a deep breath. Let go of the day. Let go of your to-do list. Let go of your identity. Let go of your name. Let go of your labels. Just become aware of what you are experiencing right now. You can hear my voice. Maybe you can hear other sounds, a fan, a buzzing, maybe a car, maybe a bird. Try to just hear the sounds and not dig into the visual or the story of those things. Just notice the vibration as it is received and interpreted by your amazing brain. Become aware of your body. Feel your feet on the floor. Notice if you can tell the difference where your skin is touching air or underneath clothes or touching itself. Notice that in this moment, all your needs are met. There is nothing undone. There is no one missing. Everything is perfect, fulfilled, and as it should be. And in this perfection, we can surrender and allow and let go of the mindful quest and simply receive whatever it is that the cosmos wants to run through us right now. Thank you, universe, for all of the gifts. Help us to appreciate our blessings. Help us to be loving people in the world. Amen. Oh, welcome! It is a treat to be with you today. I wanted to talk today about memory. Wait, was that what I was going to talk about? Yes. Actually, there's so much that I wanted to talk about. I've been reading and listening and exposing myself to some science about how the mind works and how the brain works, and really just been stewing in how that kind of really explains and also blows open some ideas about how we can live and the importance of having discipline over the way you think. Let me explain a little bit. So, I think that we're clear on how, let me just go a little bit about how the brain works as my understanding. Okay, so we have three kind of states of awareness. Remembering the past, being present, and imagining the future. Really, there's just now. There's only this now, but we can be clear and be awake and receptive to the now as we try to practice during the opening mindfulness. Or we can bring into the now memories of past things, or we can bring in imagined things of the future, or imagine things of, that will never exist just because we have the ability to create in our minds. But so there's the past, present, future, all within present. Okay. So I think we're mostly clear that the future is entirely a construct of our mind. Anything that you are envisioning about the future is created. It only exists because we have the ability to imagine, which is a distinctly human skill. Evolutionary-wise, the ability to forecast gave us a huge advantage over other animals. We can see a track of an animal and go, oh, it's going that direction. I can make the analysis about how old it looks and the weather and the size of it, and I can think, oh, I can catch this, or I can go here. That's a lot different than, just going following a scent. We can actually, imagine, or we can go, oh, you know what? the storm's coming, they're going this direction, I can plan and chase them towards this cliff or, whatever. Boy, that seems so clever and so cruel. You know how some tribes would do that, and you chase the animals up to a cliff and... But, I'm speaking from the bias of one who can go to my corner market and buy a soy sausage. And so, it's so easy for me to say I don't want to kill an animal. Anyway, I enjoy that luxury, but I digress. Okay, so the future is this imagined state, which means that, and we talk about a lot, about how having discipline about how you imagine the future is critical. And if you get too caught up into worrying, you turn your perfect now into a state of anxiety. You experience the pain of the future by bringing it to the now. So imagining pleasant futures, imagining positive things, makes your now positive. And if you subscribe to ideas of law of attraction and attraction of vibrations and intentions, it also steers you in the direction towards positive things. So what I really wanted to dig into was the idea of the past and the idea of memory. And this is where science, and I was listening to a show on Radiolab, which is an amazing podcast that I highly recommend, and also reading Wired magazine, both which had articles about memory and how the way that we used to think about memory was that it was like a filing cabinet. You see something, you take that image, memory, experience, you put it in your head, and then when you want it, you take it off the shelf and look at it. Now we use the model of a hard drive, so it's kind of like where there's a concrete thing that, if we can recall it, it has some accuracy and some validity. But science is proving time and time again that is not how our memories work at all. It is not concrete things. It actually points of data that then, when we access it, we draw the lines together. Not only that, this is the part that is just kind of blown my mind, is that every time we remember something, we actually rewrite that memory in our head. So it's not like we take something off the shelf, look at it, and put it back. What we do is we take it out, we put it on the table, and then we put it back together and put it back. The way that they know this is they've been doing studies on trying to block memory. And they found that if they give these beta blockers during an experience, you won't remember it. That's kind of crazy. So now they know they can actually figure out the physical, biological way that we form these memories and can block them as they're happening. But the crazy part gets when they started testing this and they realized that if they give those same beta blockers while you recall an old memory, it will eliminate or soften that memory. So they conditioned rats to be terrified of a certain sound. Basically, they know they go ding and then shock him. Ding, shock him. So pretty soon they go ding and the rats go Then what they did is they gave him this beta blocker chemical and go zzz, and they forgot that they used to be afraid of that because they recalled the memory, it got kind of cleaned, and then they rewrote it without the shock associated with it. They've been testing this on humans too, thinking, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. That movie came out just a couple years after this rat research was released. Mice, rat, rodent. So this is a real thing, meaning we have the ability, and they're trying to fine-tune what the chemicals are to actually eliminate memories after the fact. Not just like wipe your brain, but say, okay, let's go over this specific thing. Let's start talking about the rape. Let's start talking about the accident you saw. Let's start talking about whatever the horrible thing is that is haunting you. And while it's happening, let's either give you this chemical and it will soften. It doesn't eliminate yet, but over time it softens. And people that were paralyzed by horrific acts can suddenly begin to process it normally. Post-traumatic stress syndrome is when your memory of something horrific doesn't fade over time. It just stays like in the all the time. And so they've been using this kind of therapy with that. This whole idea really makes you understand why, when they use MDMA and ecstasy as a treatment for post-traumatic stress disorder, why it makes so much sense. Because if every time you remember something, you are creating it in the memory again, imagine if in a therapy session, you're rolling, you're feeling incredible, you're on drugs, and the therapist helps you to walk through this horrific thing. And even though the events and the things, you recall them, you do not have the biological panic, anxiety attachment because of the addition of the drug experience. So now you rewrite the memory with this new drug-fueled peace and empathy and lovey-dovey. Now, whoa! Now, this is also important to remember why eyewitness testimony is so crappy. You're familiar with this, or you know this, right? That in court, lawyers know that even though eyewitness testimony is like really powerful for juries, it is incredibly inaccurate. We think that our minds are things where we see something and then we file it away so that when someone asks us about it, we can go, yes, I remember that. But studies over and over show that that's not true at all. What happens is, because we are recalling and rewriting every time we think of a memory, it's so easy to add things and suggest things. They did these studies where they had like a police officer, they show them a video of somebody, like a car accident, and they say, when you saw the red car run the stoplight, was the curly-haired guy in the back seat? Now, there was no curly-haired guy. The car was not red. But as people recall, the first time they might say, I'm not sure, I don't really remember. But then 2 days later, they ask them, they do the exact same questions or similar questions, or they ask questions, and the second time, their memory includes a red car and a curly-haired dude. Now this is what I wanted all to get to. Okay, so the future is the creation of our mind's imagination. So is the past! Think about it. If you, every time the way you tell your story is the way it is. So unless you have some blind allegiance to a sad story, or a story that makes you a victim, or a story that makes you feel like the world's out to get you, unless you have some, I don't know, commitment to somebody that you promise never to forget all your suffering, you have the ability to retell your story in ways that make you happier. And as you retell the story, your present, your truth, your reality is totally shaped by the way you have constructed your past and the way you imagine your future. Am I alone in not thinking this is there's only the only thing that is real is now. Everything else you control by the discipline of your brain. We think that like these memories or acts are like these flagpoles in concrete, and it's not true at all. Jacob Glass likes to tell, he's a big proponent of rewriting your story. And he says, find a way to tell your story that you feel good about. Tell people, oh yeah, I spent the summer traveling around the country. You can leave out the part where you were abducted and you did it in the back of, trunk of a car. Find the parts of your story. Find the good things about people. That works too. Your concepts of people, because whenever you remember them, think about the good things. Whenever you think of the future, think about the good things. Clearly, I deserve all of the labels about, wearing rose-tinted glasses. But science is starting to say that if your goal is joy and happiness over accuracy, and accuracy, we just saw by the witness testimony studies they've done, is really, there's not truth any. So the idea that we are creators, that we are in charge of our world, of our experience, of our now, of our state of joy, it is not just some foofy idea, it is science. Now, think about this. If you are on death row in a prison cell and you turn out the lights, and if you are a billionaire and you're getting ready for bed in your 4-post bed made of ivory tusks, and you turn out the light, the only difference in your experience is the way you remember your past and the way you imagine your future. In the now, all is well. And as much as you can control and discipline and craft and be aware of the way you tell your story and imagine your future, determines if you are in a prison cell as you close your eyes or if you're in a mansion. Byron Katie tells a story about when she would visit prisons and she would hear this, she heard like this door closing as a guy was put in his cell and he just started screaming and she was like, wow, he's alone by himself. There's no one attacking him. He's alone by himself with his thoughts. And he is tortured. Now you put a monk in the same place and he's in bliss. We are all in that exact same situation all the time. And whether we see ourselves as victims, whether we see ourselves as lucky, whether we see ourselves as abundant, or we see ourselves as whatever it is, the story that we tell is the experience we have, with the exception of whatever physical sensations you have in the now. So, kind of puts a lot of responsibility on you, huh? But that's awesome. It also is a good reminder for when you are suffering. There's another Byron Katie thing that she teaches where that if you are unhappy, if you are stressed, it is almost surely because of the story that you've brought into your now. And so try to go back to the now and remind yourself everything that you know to be true, everything that's not story. So in this moment, what I know to be true is man staring into camera, sitting in chair. Now, do I know, I could be thinking, oh my gosh, is it not recording? Oh my gosh, is anybody in the chat room? Oh my gosh, is my hair look good? Is there a booger showing? Oh my gosh, am I going too long? Oh my gosh, but whoa. All that is story. The only thing that's true is man sitting in a chair looking at camera. And the reality of the now is almost always a comforting and peaceful place. So thank you for being a part of this now. May your story be amazing and give you the momentum to feel incredible. And may your future be illuminated and give you the hope to have a sparkle in your step. Thank you for making this now and my story feel amazing. Thanks for being a part of it. Let's have ourselves a hug. So wherever you are, grab yourselves by the shoulders. In this now, we are people sitting in chairs holding bodies. But let's bring a story to this now. Let's bring a story that we are exactly where we are supposed to be on our journey. We are ever becoming more open-hearted and loving. We are affecting the world and the people around us in positive ways simply by the way that we walk our walk. And let's bring a story of the future, and that we will continue to grow, continue to be exposed to and have encounters with amazing people. We will find teachers in every interaction, and we will continue to see the pure, beautiful, sparkling hearts in everyone. Not just our family and friends and loved ones, but our extended family, friends, and loved ones, of our community, of our country, of the world, and of those that we are taught are enemies. So let's grab these shoulders. Imagine we are all one body of people, all connected. And let's just take a deep breath as we connect as one. One more breath as we appreciate this perfect now. On behalf of Grandpa Caleb and all the Love Warriors, happy Hug Nation. Thank you for being a part of this now. Thank you for walking your walk. Thank you for being a part of this story. I love you. Namaste. Thank you so much for being a part of this, for connecting, for recalibrating with me, and being a part of this story and this now. It would be awesome to stay connected, so please subscribe via iTunes or YouTube or Facebook, or be my friend on AnyBeat, or just be my friend. You don't have to get me any gifts. If you want to give me gifts, that's fine, but let's just stay connected and keep this love vibration going. Have an amazing day. I love you.